Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
I'm a sucker for a good origin story, and while we aren't given many details about the Joker's life prior to The Dark Knight, he does give 2.5 quasi-origin stories in the form of how he got his scars. In the first version, he tells us how his mother sought to defend herself from his abusive alcoholic father by grabbing a kitchen knife, only to have the knife taken and used on her, with his father laughing the entire time.
He turns to me and he says, "Why so serious?" He comes at me with the knife. "Why so serious?" He sticks the blade in my mouth. "Let's put a smile on that face."
In the second version of events, he talks about having a beautiful wife who would constantly tell him that he worried too much and that he needed to smile more, and how she liked to gamble but ended up owing money to some loan sharks who decided to teach her a lesson by carving up her face. They were poor and didn't have money for reconstructive surgery. She simply couldn't take it. He wanted to find a way to let her know that he didn't care about her scars. He just wanted to make her smile again. So he came up with an idea.
I stick a razor in my mouth and do this to myself. And you know what? She can't stand the sight of me. She leaves. Now I see the funny side. Now I'm always smiling.
The third version of events is interrupted by the Batman before the Joker is able to finish.
Can't rely on anyone these days. You gotta do everything yourself. Don't we? That's okay. I came prepared. It's a funny world we live in. Speaking of which, you know how I got these scars?
No, but I know how you got these.
The purpose of an origin story is to make a character more three-dimensional and relatable by giving their actions context. The Joker's origin is left deliberately ambiguous, and this works so well because which version of events, if any, are true simply isn't important. In The Dark Knight, the Joker isn't intended to be a real person. He's simply an agent of chaos, more force of nature than man. So, given any definitive details about his origins would only serve to humanize him and undermine that. He's intended to have more in common with fundamental forces like gravity or entropy than he does with you or me. On this topic, co-writer Jonathan Nolan said, "We wanted to deal with the rise of the Joker, not the origin of the Joker. The Joker we meet in The Dark Knight is fully formed. To me, the Joker is an absolute. There are no shades of grey to him, maybe shades of purple." This decision was likely inspired by Alan Moore's The Killing Joke, in which we are shown the Joker's tragic origin story, only for him to later subvert this by saying, "Sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes another. If I'm going to have a past, I'd prefer it be multiple choice." From the Joker's perspective, sanity is like walking a tightrope, hovering over the abyss. So it's not surprising that he views the particular gust of wind that happened to have knocked him down as not very important. From his perspective, if it wasn't that sequence of events that knocked him over the edge, it could have just as easily have been another. The conflicting versions of events has the added benefit of getting the audience engaged in speculating on what the definitive version is. Is one of those stories true? If so, which one? If you ask me, it's the abusive father one, because in an unrelated scene, he randomly mentions hating his father again.
You know, you remind me of my father. I hated my father.
But what if none of the stories are true, and what really happened was way more horrifying than anything he could have told us? Your brain starts to conjure up all kinds of horrifying situations that could have caused a man to snap like this. But it doesn't matter what conspiracy theory or headcanon you come up with, because you're already hooked. This approach allows you to have your cake, a cool origin story, and eat it too. Its origins remain mysterious, leaving the Joker free to be the embodiment of an idea, rather than just a mortal man whose mind shattered under the strain of the horrors he experienced. The lack of a definitive origin story reinforces the idea implied by the introductory face reveal. Under his clown mask is simply another clown mask, suggesting there's no hidden layer or person beneath, just the Joker all the way through. There's no scared little boy deep down crying for attention or love.
No name, no other alias.
Just the Joker.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
The Joker is a goldmine when it comes to interesting philosophical ideas. That line itself is a play on German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche's famous aphorism, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." The Joker views near-death experiences, or trauma more generally, as events that expose a hidden and potentially unstable side of ourselves.
In their last moments, people show you who they really are.
The Joker expresses this in two similar but subtly different points. One, we are all balancing on the brink of insanity.
See, madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
He demonstrates the first point by taking Gotham's savior, its White Knight, and transforming him into Two-Face. We can talk about him in more detail later. In The Killing Joke, he summarizes this idea perfectly.
All it takes is one bad day. That's how far the world is from where I am. Just one bad day.
2. Human nature is intrinsically violent and selfish when push comes to shove.
See, their morals, their code. It's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be.
He demonstrates the second point, first by having two potential henchmen fight each other to the death.
So which of you fine gentlemen would like to join our team? Oh, there's only one spot open right now, so we're gonna have tryouts. Make it fast.
He later repeats this experiment on a much larger scale with the boats, but again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. The Joker believes that at our cores, we are beasts waiting to savage one another, and the only thing preventing this is the thin illusion of civilization. And honestly, one of the things that makes the Joker so compelling is that in this at least, he's 100% correct. There are countless examples of perfectly civilized human beings descending into savagery. From the Milgram experiment, which demonstrates our willingness to follow orders or cues from the group, even if they're at odds with our personal beliefs, to the Stanford prison experiment, which demonstrates that people in positions of authority tend to take advantage of those below them, to literally every single war where an invading force is let loose on a civilian population.
All you care about is money. This town deserves a better class of criminal, and I'm gonna give it to him.
The Joker clearly has contempt for Gotham's criminals. He's much more of an ideology-driven villain and views their money grubbing as banal. He seeks to differentiate himself from the common gangster.
It's not about money. It's about sending a message. Everything burns.
But it's not just an indifference towards money that separates him from the rest of Gotham's criminal scum. It's also his ability to understand people and anticipate their moves well in advance. When the other criminal bosses inform the Joker that they've moved their funds to Hong Kong in order to keep it out of the jurisdiction of Harvey Dent and the Gotham Police Department, he can't help but laugh.
I thought my jokes were bad.
After a brief magic trick,
I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. It's gone.
he explains to them that the Batman has no jurisdiction, and he will likely find their financier and make him talk.
He'll find him and make him squeal. I know the squealers when I see them.
And who would have guessed it? But that's exactly what ends up happening.
Wait. I won't give you the money, but I will give you my clients. All of them.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
At first glance, the Joker looks slovenly, with greasy hair that looks like it was dyed in a vat of Mountain Dew.
Oh, boy! Yeah!
Clearly, he doesn't care about his physical appearance, yet upon close inspection, he's deliberately stylized. He isn't committing his crimes in sweatpants and a wife beater. He's in a flashy purple suit with a waistcoat to boot.
Oh, and by the way, the suit, it wasn't cheap. You ought to know, you bought it.
On top of that, his colored hair and makeup is deliberately evocative of a clown. He doesn't look like this by happenstance. He planned to. Similarly, when we first see him, he's pulling off a very meticulously organized bank robbery.
If this Joker guy was so smart, he'd have had us bring a bigger car. I'm betting the Joker told you to kill me as soon as we loaded the cash.
No. I killed the bus driver.
Bus driver? What bus driver?
The getaway alone required planning down to the minute, if not second. So clearly, he's a master planner. If that's the case, then what does he mean when he says he doesn't have a plan? I've always understood this to mean that he doesn't have a specific end game in mind or any long-term goals.
You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. You know, I just do things.
Speaking of men with plans, let's talk about Harvey Dent.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Gotham's favorite district attorney who planned to finally rid Gotham of crime by destroying the mob.
Permission to treat the witness as hostile. Granted.
Hostile? I see you hostile!
Carbon fiber, 28 caliber, made in China. If you want to kill a public servant, Mr. Maroney, I recommend you buy American.
Get him out of here.
But Your Honor, I'm not done. The night is darkest just before the dawn. And I promise you, the dawn is coming.
Unbeknownst to him, he would be part of the Joker's first experiment. The Joker forces Batman to choose between saving Rachel, his childhood friend, also the woman he secretly loves, and Harvey Dent, Gotham's White Knight who is literally saving the city. This forces him to deal with the moral dilemma of choosing between the person who means the most to him personally and the person who could do the most for Gotham.
That's the point. You'll have to choose.
It's basically a modified trolley problem. And in my opinion, Batman uncharacteristically chooses incorrectly. He selfishly chooses to go after Rachel rather than Harvey, who could help the most people. I feel like no one talks about this enough. But in one of the best plot twists in cinema, it's revealed that the Joker swapped the addresses around, guaranteeing that whichever person Batman tried to save, they die. Batman barely manages to save Harvey in time, resulting in half of his face being burnt. And rather than just leaving the poor man to mourn his girlfriend and chances of being able to pick up women at bars, the Joker visits him in the hospital and attempts to console him in a way which only the Joker can.
You know, I don't want there to be any hard feelings between us, Harvey. I'm not a schemer. I try to show the schemers how pathetic their attempts to control things really are. So, when I say, come here, when I say that you and your girlfriend was nothing personal, you know that I'm telling the truth.
He convinces Harvey to let go of all his plans and schemes for a better Gotham and surrender himself to the chaos of chance.
It's the schemers that put you where you are. You were a schemer, you had plans, and look where that got you.
He points out the hypocrisy and injustice inherent in the system that he sacrificed so much to defend.
You know what I noticed? Nobody panics when things go according to plan. Even if the plan is horrifying. If tomorrow I tell the press that, like, a gangbanger will get shot, or a truckload of soldiers will be blowing up, nobody panics. Because it's all part of the plan. But when I say that one little old mare will die, well, then everyone loses their minds.
He makes a very convincing case that anarchy, while far from perfect, is at least fair.
I'm an agent of chaos. Oh, and you know the thing about chaos? It's fair.
And just like that, Harvey Dent, Gotham's White Knight, became Two-Face. All it took was one bad day to transform him into a coin-flipping maniac who was ready to gun down Commissioner Gordon's son.
I took Gotham's White Knight, and I brought him down to our level.
I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other. See, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
In the Joker's second experiment, he aims to prove that when push comes to shove, people will turn on one another. It's loosely based on the prisoner's dilemma, a fundamental scenario in the study of game theory. He rigs two ferries with explosives and gives the passengers on each boat the trigger for the other. One boat contains civilians, but the other boat contains prisoners. He informs them both that one of the boats must blow up the other before midnight, or he'll detonate them both, killing them all. In the end, neither boat is able to blow up the other. I love The Dark Knight, But if I had one critique of it, it would be that the boat scene felt slightly unrealistic. Different variations of the prisoner's dilemma experiment have been run countless times, and based on everything I've read on them, the overwhelming majority of the time, this situation would likely result in... What I think would really happen is what happens in the real world every day. The loudest voices in the room would be the most self-interested, and they would definitely take control of the detonator, while the majority would at least be somewhat conflicted, but they'd likely be too wavering in their conviction to stop those set on blowing up the other ship. And this is without factoring in the effect that having one of the boats filled with convicts would have on the experiment. As a society, we barely treat convicts as people at the best of times. Think about all the don't drop the soap jokes that you've either heard or likely laughed at in your life.
Look, doubloons! Don't drop them.
You, my friend, would be the belle of the ball. Don't drop the soap. Don't drop the soap.
Michael, please.
There's no other group of humans you could make those jokes about so casually without getting cancelled. So there's no way in hell the other group wouldn't morally justify blowing up the other boat with some version of they're bad people and they deserve to die.
Those men on that boat, they made their choices. They chose to murder and steal. Doesn't make any sense for us to have to die too.
But at the same time, this is a movie based on a man who punches bad guys while dressed in his pajamas, so it probably would be a step too far to expose the horrific reality bubbling under the surface of somewhat civilized society. We're still just monkeys, ready to kill one another when things get hairy at the end of the day. More than any other topic I mentioned, this is the one that I'd like to discuss in the comments, so let me know what your thoughts are, especially if you disagree with my conclusions on how the boat experiment would likely play out in reality.
You didn't think I'd risk losing the battle for Gotham's soul in a fistfight with you. Oh, you need an ace in the hole. Mine's Harvey.
While the Joker didn't have a singular mustache-twirling plan, he did set out to cause some anarchy and show Batman, and Gotham more generally, that when push comes to shove, people are vicious beasts. Sure, the boats didn't blow each other up like he assumed they would, but by flipping Gotham's golden boy Harvey Dent to the dark side, he still proved that we are all one really bad day away from snapping and falling completely off the rails. He proved that the system and people can't be trusted, and Batman and Commissioner Gordon basically accept that. They abandon their principles.
We've turned every cell phone in Gotham into a microphone.
And cover up Harvey Dent's murders in order to trick the populace into being subservient.
The Joker won. Harvey's prosecution, everything you fought for. Undone. Whatever chance you gave us of fixing our city dies with Harvey's reputation. We bet it all on him. The Joker took the best of us and tore him down. People will lose hope. They must never know what he did.
By choosing to push this lie, they are admitting that he was right, and left to its own devices, the city would descend into violence and anarchy.
This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
The final thing that makes the Joker such an excellent villain is the way in which he's simultaneously so similar to, yet so different from, the Batman. Much like the Joker, the Batman has rid himself of his humanity.
Know your limits, Master Wayne.
Batman has no limits.
Bruce Wayne is just a costume that the Batman wears.
Strange injuries, a non-existent social life. These things beg the question as to what exactly does Bruce Wayne do with his time and his money.
What does someone like me do?
Oh, drive sports cars, date movie stars, buy things that are not for sale.
Side note, I've got a really interesting video idea for explaining why deep down Superman is Clark Kent, but deep down Batman is just Batman. Let me know if anyone would be interested in this. Batman is defined by his tragic backstory, whereas the Joker's tragic backstory is undefined. Batman seeks to restore order to Gotham, while the Joker is simply an agent of chaos. Batman is a billionaire. The Joker is a hobo in a purple suit. The two of them are basically the stupid "inside you there are two wolves" meme, only slightly less silly. Two sides of the same coin, if you will.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Okay, I'll stop. Over the course of the movie, We see them slowly come to understand each other better. While at first, Batman treats him like he would any common criminal, demonstrated in the interrogation room, when Batman resorts to violence in the hopes of intimidating him like he would any other criminal.
Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. He can't feel the next. See?
But he slowly learns that the Joker simply doesn't care about his well-being, rendering Batman's threats of bodily harm completely useless.
You have nothing to threaten me with. Nothing to do with all your strength.
Similarly, over the course of the movie, I get the impression that the Joker truly understands the Batman in a way which no one else does. I love that when the Batman tells the Joker he'll be in a padded cell forever, the Joker simply responds with,
Maybe we could share one.
The Joker is the only person in Gotham who recognizes the obvious. Batman is clearly insane. Batman was traumatized by watching his parents murdered in front of him. And this is what drives him to dress up every night as a flying rat and beat the crap out of poor people.
Well, a guy dresses up like a bat clearly has issues.
This is perfectly in line with the Joker's predictions of what trauma does to people.
Don't talk like one of them. You're not. Even if you'd like to be.
They both have violent tendencies. They just manifest in slightly different ways.
You just couldn't let me go, could you? You won't kill me out of some misplaced sense of self-righteousness. And I won't kill you because you're just too much fun.
With neither of them willing to kill the other, this high-stakes game of cat and mouse would likely never end.
I think you and I are destined to do this forever.
Heath Ledger was set to reprise his role as the Joker in the final chapter of Christopher Nolan's trilogy, but following his untimely passing, any mention of the character was completely removed from The Dark Knight Rises out of respect for Ledger. That makes this quote all the more poignant, if a little ironic. The Caped Crusader and the Clown Prince complete each other.
I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No. You complete me.
As long as we have a Batman, there will always be a Joker. If for no other reason than movie studios are lazy, greedy, and he's the most iconic Batman villain. But that's just this idiot's opinion. As always, feel free to suggest villains that I should cover in the comments. If you liked the video, and the fact that you're still watching heavily suggests that you did like the video, give the video a like. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. Life is hard enough. The last thing you need is another villain.